Okay, so these are just tips, whatever, I'll read those later. My hands are really dirty because I just finished filming a video about making your own alcohol inks. So you can look for that. Okay, so I believe these have to come off, these rings. I'm not sure why they have them on there. Oh, they just stop from leaking or something. I don't know. I've seen a few things on these. The Frugal Crafter, Lindsay the Frugal Crafter. She has a really great YouTube channel, and I think that's where I saw these. Okay, so I'm gonna take all of these rings off and then I'll come back. Let's start with yellow. I'm not going to do like an underpainting. Normally I would. Let's try this. Oh dear, I do not even know what I'm doing here. I think what I'm going to do is just go in and just in the shadow parts, I'm going to make this a little bit like, I don't know when do I have to go in right away and blend it out, or like what happens here. And what am I doing with this brush? Okay, there we go. I might have to get used to this water brush. Like I said, I haven't used a water brush. Before. I think what I'm going to do is kind of do a, try to see if I can do like a peachy, not a pink, but yellow with a little bit of pink in it maybe, which is not really peach. Okay, so clearly I need to work on my control. I just don't know like how long you can go before you need to go in, like, so I'm going to try to leave some of this. Let's just leave this one here. Yeah, it takes a little bit of just working with it to get the control, because I went out of the what I wanted to there. I'm just going to leave this section here for a little bit just to see how much I can leave it before I can't really go in and move it around. And I'm starting to figure out that I need to use more control. I'm just picking out random shadows. I should probably decide where the light is coming from, but let's just say it's coming from the top, or I don't know, above. So it's really long, the brush, I find, compared, well, like what I'm used to using is this and this. So I guess it's not longer than that. It just feels, for some reason it feels like it is. These are Escada Perla Joseph Zabuchevich. That's not right. That's not right at all. But I can't remember how to pronounce his name. Okay, let's just go in right here. Now I know there's some cool effects we can do with these, so I want to see if I can just go in with another color and try it out. But first, so I don't want to keep that line there. I want that line to move. And then this is, I think this is the one I want to use here. Yes. So this is a little bit pink. So let's just squeeze a bunch of water here and just see what happens. Do you have to push on the, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, I like that. Interesting. Just have to figure out what I'm supposed to do with it. So let that move. Just let that fade out a little bit. One thing that I have found that for myself working with watercolor, and definitely with this, is that I have two brushes in my hand, and I often work with two brushes in my hand. Maybe not right at the beginning. This is a very bright flower. Let's hit it with a shot of that. Okay, well, I should not have gone in, I should have taken a, I went and worked in an adjacent petal, and I should have moved around. Alright, so I was going to leave this. But they're more liftable than it seemed like they would be. Maybe because just the vibrant colors, maybe just subconsciously it makes you think, oh no, they're not going to lift. They're not going to move, they're not going to blend. But no, they're blending really good. Let's work in a petal that doesn't have a wet petal beside it. So I left this big mark here, which probably was not a good idea. Okay, I'm just going to put this with water. I'm just going to cover that with water. And then I'm going to go in. Oh, I've got lids in my hands. I don't even know what I've got here anymore. I'm just going to see about just working some of that and then just working it down a little bit. Seeing how much I can get that to move on its own. Because this petal is really kind of in the forefront, and so if I can get like some kind of curved effect there, yeah, I don't know. This is too dark. I think that's the problem. So let's see if we can lift this. A little bit. let's just leave this flower, that petal alone for a second and work up here. So I'm gonna go back in with, yes, with this one. I didn't know what color I had in my hand. And I'm just gonna blend that out. So with the rose, honestly with I think pretty much any flower, you need to, like, the center is going to be darker, right? Oh, wow, I've left this for a little too long, I think. I know that when I'm doing faces, I have to be super careful and watchful of what's going on in this piece. I'm working over here, and I have to be watchful over there, because if I don't blend it soon enough, like I like to wait a certain amount of time depending on how much I want it to absorb into the paper. And so I just have to keep my eye on a lot of these things to make sure I haven't left it too long, or I'm not going in too soon. I'm finding more and more that there's like this perfect time depending on how much, and it changes, the perfect time changes depending on how much I want it to be blended. And so especially with faces, you have to be really, really watching everything. You're working in this section, but you have to keep your eye over here, and then you have to remember to look over there. And whereas with flowers, I don't think it's quite as important. I guess it depends on how much you want it blended, or what effect you want. See, like this, I totally forgot about this. Plus, I'm doing a video, so I'm also got that going on in my mind, which I used to be really good at multitasking, but I've gotten worse at it. And so I'm also trying to kind of remember to explain what I'm doing. Okay, I want this one to be a little bit more pink, so I'm going to let it dry for a second, because there's no distinction between these two flowers, and there will be. Once it dries, I'm going to go in darker right here, so that will put that petal behind. And then see, like, this is dry right here, so if I go in with this, that hopefully brings out that petal a little bit more. So for the most part, I'm just like, what I did, just like, I'm not pushing anything, it's just whatever ink is on there right now. And yeah, I think I want it a little bit darker here. Now this paper isn't, I mean, it's okay, but it's only going to take so much abuse, and I tend to work with a lot of water. So I just have to keep that in mind. Yeah, these petals are blending into each other, which I'm not happy with. It has nothing to do with markers, it's me. I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing. Just a very light yellow on there. These are supposed to look like they're folded over. Okay, I can't go into this petal, but I think I can work on this petal. Alright, so my camera just kind of stopped recording for a second because it had run out of room. So I'm back, and I'm just trying to set this up a little better so you can see. Oops. So this flower is a lot brighter than what I would like. But like I said, I haven't used these mermaid markers before, or any of these markers, so it's learning, but I have to say I am loving them. I'm really loving them. This is kind of cool, this area in here. I kind of like it just random washing out. I probably wouldn't paint it that way on purpose, but part of what I need to do is, because one of the problems I have with watercolor is that I fiddle with it too much, and so it's good for me to just let it happen. And when I look at it here, it kind of looks but then when I look at it on the monitor, I actually like the effect that it gives. So now this is all dry, because I was took a 3-minute break there. So it gave it a chance to dry a little bit, and I'm just bringing out some of that white, lifting it a little bit as much as I can. I prefer to not have to go back in and lift too much, but it is what it is. And some colors lift better than others. Some watercolor browns lift better than others, and you just have to find what you like and what works for your style, pretty much. Yeah. I know there's a lot more I could do with these. Like, they have some really cool effects. So I kind of want to figure out a little bit what those are, but it might take me a little bit of working. This flower is so yellow, which I guess is not a bad thing. I'm not really explaining too much about what I'm doing, or why I'm doing it, like, because I'm not really doing a painting tutorial here. It's more just to watch me figure out what to do with these mermaid markers. It's mostly just for your entertainment and watching me struggle, seeing what I'm doing here. But I do plan on doing tutorials and stuff, just showing you what I do. And because I am a self-taught artist, like I never took art classes growing up, and the only art classes I've taken are just like, I don't know, random things I find online, and just most of it is just figuring out what works. Like for watercolor, I find that someone can tell you all about watercolor, but until you start working with it and figuring out how much water you need in certain situations, you really can't, like it. And honestly, I know there are things you can teach about watercolor, definitely, but as far as you really knowing what a person is talking about, you just have to do it, and then you're kind of like, oh, okay. Now this petal is behind, and right now it looks like it's in front, so I'm gonna just put this in and then blend that out. Just go along. See, what I want to try to figure out, I want to get this moving, and yeah. And there's situations where you want to go wet on wet and wet on dry. Now what's happening with this petal? I don't even know which one is supposed to be in front, which one is behind. I think I'm going to put this one behind. It's already quite dark. there. So I need to darken it right here. Yeah, but I can definitely do a tutorial sometime on like what I've taught, what I've learned in watercolor. And lots of times it's really good to take it from someone who had to teach themselves, because they have a little bit of a different perspective on it, I think, than people who know technically all the right things to do. Just want no, and I think it must have been this one, and I just put a little bit. I don't know if it was this one, but I just put a dab of it. It wasn't this one. I don't know what I was using. Like, honestly, that doesn't even make sense. Must have been this one. Just gotta. No, it was not this one. I'm so confused right now. I was using a non-existent. No, it's definitely not that one. So I'm just going to put a touch of pink in here. I want to add, that might be a little too much. Let's put some of this on top. Ugh. Nope. Okay, this has to be moved to the back. Yeah, it was this coral. This was the one I was using. It just seems like it is too vibrant, but no, I just washed it out. So now I'm just kind of going around and just adding in I'm dipping my water brush in my water. I don't think that's what you're supposed to do with water brushes. I think it's that's the whole point, is that you don't have to dip them in water. But I guess it's just a habit. So I just want a little bit of that pink to kind of show through. This is probably too pink, so I should just put a little bit of that in there. But I do want this rose to be a little bit multicolored. This is really bright in here, and I want it to be bright, but probably not that bright. Just blend this out. So yeah, like, I need to do a better job of just keeping kind of, you can see how I went over there. And that's just learning the control of learning how to control the brush better. But I think that I'm pretty happy. It's really bright. It's super bright. And with watercolors, I'm used to it fading, but it doesn't fade, which is awesome and scary all at once. So that's kind of, I think that's why it's a lot brighter than what I was trying to achieve. At least that's what I'm gonna say. It's because I didn't realize how bright it would get. Okay, I'm just gonna try to lift some of this. This petal is just way too bright. Really, really bright. You could definitely go in and add in a lot more detail. But honestly, like, it's not even that loose of a painting, really. I mean, it's loose, but I don't know. Just get rid of some of these watermarks there. I don't love them. Yeah, in here, I don't like that. So I want to go in with a darker color. Like, there's this brown, and I'm just wondering if I could just, oof. I wonder, okay, I'm going to just, I think it was this one here. Just put some here, and I'm just going to pick some up because I don't want it to be that dark. So I'm trying to stick to these colors that I have here. I wouldn't normally pick this color if I was painting this. I'd probably pick well, I don't know. Or I'd probably make my own mixture, put a little bit more red in that. But I'm gonna stick with what I've got here. And then I'm just gonna lift this. Just gonna go in here and just, this kind of helps to make it look a little bit more turned. It's probably too late to do that with like some of these. Like you can kind of lift. I'm just taking a clean, oh, I'm running out of water. I don't know where it went. On the paper, that's where it went. You know, that's how it works. Okay. I really like what's going on there. I don't like what's going on here or here. So the solution is probably, since this is here, it should be somewhere else. Well, I have some here, but let's just add in a little bit more. I'm going to go in with the pinks. That brown did not do what I wanted it to do. So I'm going to do a little bit more pink and just bring these tight petals out a little bit more if I can. So I don't want to flood my paper. So I don't want too much water on here. I just need to figure out the right amount that it needs to blend it. See, and I don't even know with this water brush like how much water comes out. Does, okay. It just kind of, I don't know how it works. Like, I'm not squeezing anything right now. I know squeezing it will make more water come out. But there is obviously water coming out. Correct? Correct? Okay, I'm going to make this quite dark. Actually, I'm just going to add, since that's wet, make it a really cool effect. And then I'm going to go in with the orange. Because I want it to be quite vibrant, just right in there. And then if I can lift this up. It's something. I don't know. Like, look at these water lines I'm getting. Don't love them. I'm not sure how to use my brush to get them out. This brush to get them out. Okay, so I need to define this. So I'm going to go in right here. And that is wet on wet, but it's not quite enough, so I'm going to just give it a shot of this. It needs another shot. Okay, I'm going to let that sit for a little bit, and then I'm going to move it around in a second. I really don't need to do too much with the, just put a few dabs in there. And there you go. Yeah, that worked good, that section. I can't get to, you know what, I think I'm just fiddling with that. That's the problem there, because it's just a disaster right in the center there. So I need to just leave it alone and then come back to it. Hopefully there will be a solution there. Right now it's bad. See, this is lighter and this is darker, which is fine, but it doesn't, it's not working together. And see, I'm going in here and fiddling because that's what I do. I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna leave it alone, and then I'm like, no, let's try this. Okay, leave it, leave it. Okay, I just want to add a few pink, and this will just be enough pink to make it look like there's some pink in this rose, and also it helps to tone down the yellow a little bit. Look at that. That is wonderful. There. Yep, like that. Where else could it use pink? We don't want to go crazy because all of a sudden I'll stop and I'll be like, oh, what did I do? So go slowly, work slowly, and thoughtfully. Careful. Don't let that get out of control there. Yeah, so these colors are really, really vibrant and they really don't fade. Like, not from what I can tell so far. Like, where's those cards that I did? Yeah, like they don't look like they have faded at all. So, good to know. Good to know. Okay, this is darker and it needs to, this is not going to work right here. This needs to be darker. And then, whoops, what did I do there? Well, that's not good. And it's not going to lift because it's probably like a color that doesn't lift very easily. Some colors lift really a lot better than others, and I'm still slowly learning which colors it is. And it just depends what the dyes are in these markers. Because I know like a phthalo blue does not lift well. Okay, just a little bit of pink along here, and then I don't know, I want to be done, but we got a disaster in the center there. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to be done. I'll just dip my brush in the water again. So you really have to be watching with this because I've got like these water marks which drive me nuts. There's a place for them and a place that isn't for them. And this is the place that isn't for them. But they're here. They're here nevertheless. All right. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do here. It's dry now, for the most part, but it's just... Actually, you know what I would do is go in with some markers, or not markers, my watercolor pencils. So these are Derwent watercolor pencils, and use this one. Is this? Oh, this is Crimson Lake, and you can just bring out a little bit more detail in here. I'm just adding random detail now because I'm kind of done with whatever I've tried to do there. I was hoping to try to avoid using anything else, but that's okay. I'm just making up my own petals now. I mean, they were my own petals, but I mean, just adding in things that weren't even there before. Okay, now that brings out a little bit more detail, and I'm just gonna, I don't know how much water is coming out of that brush, so I'm gonna use my other brush, my regular watercolor brush, and just make sure it's not too wet, and just blend those in a little bit. For the most part, watercolor pencils, the line will stay in that place. You can move things a little bit, and this paper is kind of had its limit as to the abuse it will take from me. So there's not a whole lot I'm going to be able to do, because you can see it's kind of right there. It's feathering out the paper. So I need to stop playing with it. Another thing you can do is just go in here like this. I just want to fix this design, or this center here, into something that looks like something. All right, I'm just leaving that. Most times when that happens, I just have to walk away, and then I can come back the next day, and all of a sudden the solution is right there in front of me. Except for this. I'm just going to bring this petal out because it needs a petal right here. And I think I had one in there anyway before. Yeah, that helps to put a little bit more detail in. Just smooth those pencil marks a little bit. Probably should have had a little bit of, let's just put a little crook in there. Make it a little bit interesting. I keep putting this pencil back and keep grabbing it again. I just want to make that look a little bit more interesting than just a plain rounded curved edge there. And just go in there and bring this out. Watercolor pencils are so fun to work with. I love them. The set I have, well, I have a couple different sets. Is by, this one is Derwent. I got it on Amazon for a really good price, and I just bought the biggest set there is because if you buy 12, and then you're like, okay, I want more now. Now I can afford more. And then you buy 24, you're getting the same 12, and then if you buy 48, you're getting the same 24. So this is their whole line of watercolor pencils, and so and it was a really good price on Amazon. But I also have Artist Loft, because I bought those years ago, and they're not bad. I haven't compared them lately. I actually haven't used them lately, so maybe I should try to compare them. And then I have this other brand, Kimberly, Generals Kimberly, and I find they're definitely more intense than the Artist Loft. Like, they're definitely a step up from that, but still a very affordable. If you're just starting out, like, totally, these are not expensive at all. But I figured, since I was doing more watercolors, and since I did some watercolor pencil pieces with these, and then it was enough to tell me, okay, yeah, you can invest in more because you enjoy it enough, and it makes sense for you to look at that thing. Isn't that annoying? Okay, so this is we're done. I'm just gonna erase this as much as I can. Some of it's not going to erase. I wonder if my trusty, and this is still dry, or still wet. Another thing you could do with this eraser is you can go in and put little, you just have to get a dot. No, it's not working. Often you can put in a little, what am I trying to say? See, I have sanded that down to just like a small tip. But you can put little dots in, but you'd have to do it. It probably doesn't work very well with these markers, and probably sooner than what I did it with. So yeah, you can tell that this pencil isn't totally erasing. So that's why I like to do it lighter than I was today, but I wanted you to be able to see what I was drawing, so it can just be part of the charm of this, I guess. I'm staying away from that area because it's still wet, and that would be really awful too. Another cool thing you could do is you could do some splatters. Actually, I could just go in with my Faber-Castell, and I'm sure I could splatter with this, but I don't want to waste that ink. It's not cheap, this ink, so I'm not going to splatter with this when I can just splatter a little bit here. And let's do a little bit of this pink. So I'm just putting this is a Chinese bamboo brush. Just putting it in here, getting lots of water. And that pink helps to tone down the yellow. And it kind of helps to cover up a bunch of mistakes I made. So that's always good. It's like, no, I meant to do that. Another thing that can be fun to do is just put it down and then just, I don't want to do like a ton, but if you're going to do a little bit, sometimes you got to do the right amount, otherwise it doesn't look right. Okay, and I'm just going to add a little bit more pink in there. Just let that dry down. You see that? How it just falls down there? That actually works pretty good. This is my extent of the Faber-Castell. Should I do one over there, or does that look too even if I put one? If I put one over here, yeah. Oops. Yeah, the other thing is to make sure your erasing is gone. I feel like there's 2 marks. I like uneven, odd numbers of things, so I just got to add in another one here. Otherwise it's just going to make me mad. Not mad, annoyed. Come on, let's fall down. There we go. And let's just drop a bunch of water right on that. This is annoying that I did that, but I don't think there's any way I can fix it. There. Okay, that looks good. Stop, Janelle, stop. There you go. So that is so far what I've done. I mean, I would definitely, if this was an actual piece I was doing, I would have to fix some of these other things. Or, see this watermark here? I'd probably just make that into another petal. I think that would be kind of cool. Or, I mean, it could be just like a cast shadow, so it doesn't necessarily need to be blended out. This needs to be darker, and right now I feel like I'm going to make it darker. Because I'm bad that way. See how you just need like just a little tiny tip or tiny drop of the color just to help to bring that out. And it doesn't need to be, and you don't want it to be like all along here like an outline. It just comes and goes, so like kind of like lost and found edges. It's like lost and found shadows, lost and found shading. Anyways, so that's, there we go. It's not dry yet. Yeah, I actually think that turned out pretty good. I'm excited about using more of those markers. So I am going to go now, and I will see you next time. Hope you enjoyed this.